Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. But 100 years later, the Negro still sad. It's crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. Until we've come here today to dramatize his shameful condition and since we've come to our nation's capital to cash the check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a check which has come back marked insufficient funds, but we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds and the great value of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon the demand of riches of freedom and the security of justice. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark, desolation valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to rise from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. There will neither be rest or tranquility in America until the Negroes granted his citizenship and rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundation of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice in the progress of gaining our rightful place. We must not be guilty of our wrongful deeds. Let's not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle in the high pain of the dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to the just of all white people, for many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to read us that the destiny is tied up with our destiny. Be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of the police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our bodies, heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot be lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the cities. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by staying for white slavery. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. We are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unnatural that some of you came here on great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come from fresh from narrow justice. Some of you have come from areas where you watched your freedom left by the storms and persecution, snapper by the winds of police brutality. You have been the winner to create suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unwaged suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, go back to South Carolina, go back to the southern ghettos of the northern cities, knowing that somehow the situation can and won't be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends. So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. And it's a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live on this true and creed. We hold this truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation of dreams, where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. I have a dream one day down in Alabama that little black boys and little black girls will be able to hold hands with little white boys and little white girls as brothers and sisters. I have a dream today.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, and the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed. This is our hope. This is our faith that I go back to the south with this faith we will live. So if you walk the mountain of despair, a stone of hope, you will be with this faith you will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. So this is the day that when all of God's children will be able to sing with me reading.
My country is a free land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrims cried, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the hiking Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from the Little Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And when this happens and when we allow freedom ring, we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing the word of the Old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last.